but she already had some different duty to do. But today they're both here, and I spoke a long time already. But I would like to hear something from both from Lalita Didi and from Vishakha Didi. Their thoughts about this, or anything about Krishna consciousness. They're both. Although there is no order of sannyas for women, they are sannyasis, both of them, and great preachers of our mission, and very much loved by our Gurudev.
I wondered about Mahaprabhu. And Radha and Shamsundar came from Jaipur.
Yeah.
And then the Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu came a year before.
Okay.
We were already worshipping him for a year when Radha Shamsundar came, and he came from Navadvip.
Mm-hmm.
From
and this one was also, he came much later.
Later on,
okay.
yeah. So then he was actually, the Mahaprabhu in Green Street, he was part of a set of Gaunitai, which had been ordered by some devotees, and they didn't collect them. For whatever reason, they didn't collect them. So the sannyasi in charge then, he bought Mahaprabhu and brought him back. And just somehow or another, it was Guru Maharaj's desire that it would not be the worship of Gaunitai, but the worship of Mahaprabhu and Radha Shamsundar, which is how, in our line, that's established by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as the highest revelation of divinity in our line. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahyan. The Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha and Govinda, and this revelation shown to Rai Ramananda by Mahaprabhu, and this is established by Saraswati Thakur, this worship, and Guru Maharaj introduced this worship in London. So that conception coming from Mahaprabhu's conception, Mahaprabhu's revelation to Ramananda Rai.
First.
You start. I'll be here a lot over the summer too. This is a rare opportunity to hear from Devi.
Just in the theme of how everything took place, I also came to the Chaitanya Saraswat Math through London. Joined this mission, first coming to the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math London chapter, at that time at the rented house in Manor Park.
Yes.
And that was 1991. And I met Sripad Bhakti Ananda Sagar Maharaj in America as he was traveling on a pre-world tour, scouting out certain locations where our Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj, would go on his first world tour. And I was living in Eugene, Oregon, and Sagar Maharaj came to visit Eugene, Oregon. I met him there, and I was very ready for Sri Guru and his grace. And he gave me a picture of Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and gave me a lecture, a tape, maybe it was a CD or a tape, 1991, and a book that he just printed, The Divine Servitor, and that was enough for me. Yes, that my heart jumped. That's the picture of my Guru, that's the voice of my Guru, there's the book of my Guru, and I'm ready to go. And I was in a rental agreement at that time, I was telling him today. And I collected enough money to pay like 1 year rent to get out of this agreement, and left on a one-way ticket to Navadvip, but stopping in London. And went and spent about a month in the home of Jita Krishna Prabhu, Jita Krishna Didi, and Ram Sundar Prabhu, and every day coming to the Mat in Manor Park. Just before Green Street, the deities were in Manor Park. And I was so struck by these deities, especially Radharani, so beautiful. And I would just sit and pray. I was not initiated yet, praying for shelter, praying for a connection that I would reach the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev safely. I met Devashis Prabhu at that time, and there was a lot of printing, book work going on at that time with Sagar Maharaj, and doing some collection to help that. So London was very much significant in my joining the mission, and these deities of Radha Shyam Sundar. No wonder I'm here. Their grace arranged through Devashis Prabhu that I would come for their anniversary. 40 is such a big number. We hope we'll all be alive and well at 50.
Yeah, maybe.
If it is their wish, we can do that again, celebrate together. But here we are, 40 years, celebrating beautiful manifestation of Mahaprabhu, Radha, and Krishna. Grace of Srila Bhakti, Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and always Gurudev is there, making in the background all arrangements for everything to be perfect for the devotees of the Western world. So very grateful to their lordships and all the devotees here, and London Mat feels like one of my homes on the planet. And so it's a great honor and privilege to be here celebrating with all of you. And so nice to meet the new generation. Now we are, is it third generation Vaishnavas since Srila Sridhar Maharaj time? Such wonderful, bright-eyed, enthusiastic family growing in such a sincere, authentic way. This mission is growing, the communities are growing. 2 communities simultaneously sharing responsibility and service and working together. It's an inspiration, and I'm sure Gurudev is not absent. He hasn't withdrawn. He's very much accepting all your offerings and your services and guiding you and smiling down upon all of you. So, some of my thoughts, feelings today, and I've arrived on Wednesday, and I'll be here till the 13th. We still have so many days together, and I'm here at your service. In any capacity, in any way I can be a source of encouragement and help and assistance. Please don't hesitate to call on me. And tomorrow we will go to Green Street, join the Sunday program, and try to do some service and be available to meet all the devotees on that side too, who are so busy preparing for this festival. And I'm always available wherever I am. Based in Chiang Mai, Thailand, but I'm very much on call and available through correspondence at your service here, and inviting you all to visit us in Chiang Mai when any of you get a chance. So those are my few words of happy to offer Vishakha Devi.
Well, continuing with the theme, I'm also especially indebted to our London mission. I grew up here, actually. When people ask me, where are you from, I still don't know what to say. I'm 40 years old now, and I still honestly don't know what to say, because I've lived all over the world. But in many ways, I can say I'm from London. I'm from UK, you know, I'm from England. My teenage years were spent here, and it was a very precious opportunity for me because, you know, my parents moved a lot in our early years, but then to have the opportunity throughout my teenage years to like really connect in a deep way with the spiritual community was so valuable, was so precious. And we used, from when I was around 12 up until 20, then I went to live in India. So that was like a really key formative 8 years of my life. And with my mother and my sisters, we'd go every Sunday for our program in East London. Devashis Prabhu heading things up, and Sachi Didi, and Pandita's my age, so we would have been closer in age, and then Saraswati, Lavanya, and Ratnavali Didi, of course, my big sister. Veera Chandra Prabhu. I still remember playing with Veera Chandra Prabhu. I think I remember us holding hands sometimes. And Tari Prabhu and his wonderful older brother, Lalita Madhava Prabhu. It was a really, and now I think back and I think actually not everyone can have such a beautiful experience, you know, with the spiritual community like that at that age. A very, very precious experience. And at the time, I wasn't so interested in the philosophy very much. It had very little interest, actually. But I liked the community. I liked doing service. I liked helping in the kitchen. And it just felt like a beautiful family, you know. And it was like an ideal environment for someone to nurture their, you know, their spiritual creeper, you know, seed of devotion. And of course, every year or twice a year, our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, used to come. And it was like the event of the year that everyone would look forward to every year. And really very, very beautiful experience. So I feel very much indebted because, you know, that was really like the perfect environment, you know, for my, you know, faith to grow, you know, a little bit at least, and for my, you know, my decision to try and go deeper into this, to try to commit my life to this. And it really came from that, you know. Sometimes I think that my spiritual life really began in the kitchen of East London. It was a very, very beautiful atmosphere, you know, feeling the service current, you know. And it was a very safe environment too, because there were so many, you know, friendly senior devotees around, you know, who were affectionate and always happy to answer questions, and persons like Devashis Prabhu. So I'm very, very much indebted to that. That's my personal experience. And then, of course, there's so much significant history, right, which Devashis Prabhu will, of course, speak more on in these coming days, that we know this mission, our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, considered it his guru's like personal mission. Jai Shri Gauranga Sundarju. You know, London has a long history, important place, you could say, in the history of the distribution of Gaudiya Vaishnavism as a whole, right? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our great-grandfather guru, you know, back in the early 1900s, he was sending preachers to London, and then he had requested Srila Sridhar Maharaj to also go, but he had humbly declined for his own reasons, right? And then when this mission came, right, through the service of Devashis Prabhu and others, Srila Sridhar Maharaj was very happy about that because he felt he was able to fulfill that service that his guru had asked him, but which he hadn't been able to fulfill, right? But through the service of the devotees here, in his name, it would be possible. And so our Gurudev, for our Gurudev also, London was also a very special place. And sometimes when he came here, he would say things like, "Now I am home." You know, we heard comments like that, and it was a, there was something of an intimate mood, and perhaps being squeezed into that tiny little room wasn't such a bad thing, actually, because it gave more of like a family mood, family atmosphere. And I didn't know that, or at least I'd forgotten that story about Yuri Geller, but that's very wonderful to hear. That's a beautiful example. That was our Gurudev's mood, And I remember another occasion, he was invited like as a special guest for some, I won't say the names, but some big event at a big organization as like the VIP guest. But the children had a play that afternoon, in our tiny little backyard in East London. Shileka Didi used to organize these plays. And, very homemade, tiny little garden in the back. And our Gurudev humbly declined the invitation. "Oh, the children have a play going on this afternoon, so I won't be able to make it." That was his mood. So and now now thinking on the larger context of the grandeur and the glory of our Gurudev's world tours all over the world, and then I think of that sweet simplicity and the mood in London. It was a privilege to be able to experience that. So I'm very grateful to the community here on a personal level, and also very appreciative thinking, from some wider perspective. And then, besides all of that, to see how this service has been continuing and has also expanded so beautifully over these last few decades. I mean, it's quite extraordinary. And all the devotees here, they have so many stories to tell, actually, And I was remembering the other day, how, this temple came, because our Gurudev was always saying, right, as Prabhu said, that a larger property was necessary. And then finally, according to the urban legend, this property was signed on the same day that our Gurudev left the world, right? That's what I've been told, right? And Pandita, of course, was very involved in that, and Tarit Prabhu's brother, Lalita Madhava. But then we hear it was sitting for about a year. It wasn't quite sure how the service was going to go on. And then it was Saraswati Didi who kind of, took that service on, took that responsibility. And I remember, I think the first time I came here was 2012, after our Gurudev had left. And I remember she was here practically alone with Ishan Prabhu and maybe one or two others, But she, what kind of a spirit is that? She just almost single-handedly took it on and started, renovating, started some programs. And then, then year after year I was coming more or less and seeing how it was every time. And still, every time I come, it's developed more and some new bright faces in the community. So I remember one thing our Gurudev used to say, Bhaktya Sanjataya Bhaktya, that from devotion, more devotion will come, And so similarly, we can see, when there is some real spirit of service, it will naturally expand, it will grow, And so it's a very good symptom, to see that the service is flourishing here, and I feel honored, privileged to be able to witness it, be some small part of it. In some small capacity. So my gratitude to all of you, who are part of the service here, supporting in some way or another, and I hope we can all be good friends for many years. Did I mention Lavanyu Didi? If I didn't, then she's definitely on top of the list. Amazing servitor. Saraswati and Lavanyu, they're in their own category, Sometimes I think of them like our Gurudev would speak about these fire ants. If they bite you, they will never let go. And oh, wait to hear where the story's going. I don't mean it like that. But if you pull, but if you go and try to pull them out, they will die holding on to you. But they won't let go, And I think of Saraswati, and Gurudev used that as an example, as the type of service mood that we want to have, you know. And I feel like Saraswati and Lavanya, they exemplify that more than anyone else that I know. You know, they're like die-hard, you know, fully 200% dedicated to completing the seva. You know, whether they're with a group or whether they're alone. You know, they're very staunch. Staunch is the word. Staunch is the word. Very staunch in their service. So it's inspirational, you know, inspirational to see that. And we can't list everyone, but so many beautiful devotees with such beautiful service mood, living service mood. So we're fortunate to see that.
And the secretary of London Chapel, that's such a key central service figure. And that is Devashis Prabhu. Years of sacrifice and sometimes feeling very alone and standing through thick and thin, ups and downs, bankruptcy. He started that restaurant. Was that during Gurudev's time?
Yeah.
And Gurudev's like, Prabhu, you're going to be like 24/7 without making money. He had to do it and learn from his own experience.
That's true. Well, after we closed the restaurant ran for about 2.5 years and was quite successful. I mean, we had a lot of good reviews. We had reviews in Time Out and GQ magazine, the Tatler, and you know, like BBC Good Food Guide. I mean, really, it was quite successful that side, but not successful monetarily. And so finally we had to close it, because although we could pay our staff, and you know, the idea was this was going to be the support of the London mission, but it ended up that myself and my business partner, we couldn't pay ourselves, and you know, you can't sustain that for too long. Anyway, when we decided to close it, then I was in Moscow with Gurudev, and I told him, Maharaj, I closed the restaurant. He said, what happened? I told him, and he said, I never wanted you to do that restaurant. And I said, Maharaj, why didn't you tell me that like before? And he said, you were so enthusiastic, I didn't want to disappoint you. You know? I didn't want you to feel disappointed. So he said, but that isn't your dharma. Your dharma is to engage other people to do those things. Okay, Maharaj. So yeah, that didn't quite work out. It was good fun though.
What was it called again?
Hollyhocks. That was the name. We bought it off this couple who were running it before. That's what the name they gave it, so we kept it because it had, you know, they already had a customer base. And
it's very yummy, everything there.
So delicious.
I tried it out myself. It was like foodie central. If you really loved food and all the like comfort foods of the West, mostly Western.
yeah.
Veggie burgers and
I remember it being so ambitious because he had a lunch menu, and then you would cook everything again for the dinner, like a different menu for dinner.
Yeah. Anyway, you live and learn. You live and learn. And it was, as Didi said, it was something I had to do, get it out of my system, you know.
I think Gurudev did kind of gently warn you, like, maybe not. But he always depended on you as the secretary of this mission.
Yeah, it took so much of my time that I wasn't even able to go to the temple anymore. And Gurudev was very upset with me for that. So then I had to I had to employ Dandakaranya Prabhu to run it on a Sunday, so I could. And he's just the coolest headed person that I ever met. You know, when everything was going crazy at the restaurant, he was as cool as a cucumber, just like doing everything, you know. Anyhow.
And the tidiest cook.
Yeah, he was a great cook. But yeah. So many good things I remember from that. We had one devotee from South America, and he was collecting money for the temple, but not giving the money to the temple. And so one day we were sitting in the afternoon, we'd closed for the lunch and before we opened for the evening, and he came walking in the restaurant and didn't realize it was my restaurant with his collecting can, and he came in, and as soon as he saw all the devotees, he just turned around and walked out again. Didn't even speak, didn't say anything, walked back out again. Anyhow, yeah, it was fun.
Maybe some questions from anybody?
Hare Krishna.
Logistics-wise, everyone knows the dates of the festivals?
I hope so, I think so, yeah.
Okay. We hope we'll see everybody from this side on Green Street. Is it next Saturday?
Next Saturday here,
Here.
and not this Saturday at the end of the week, the following Saturday, the 10th, we'll be here in the morning, and then Nagar Sankirtan in central London in the afternoon, and then most of the devotees will relocate to the east side, and then on the Sunday, which is the day of Nrsimha Chaturdashi, the main festival day, but fasting day, and so from there in the evening, then we'll have some anukalpa, little bit, Ekadashi style prasadam, and then on the Monday, which is Purnima, then we will do Vaishnav Seva to feed all the Vaishnavas in the afternoon, and we hope you'll all be there if you can come.
The actual installation took place on Nrsimha Chaturdashi.
Yeah, Nrsimha Chaturdashi, yeah. 1985. I'm not sure how strictly we followed Nrsimha Chaturdashi on that day, because we were all new kids, you know, we didn't know what we were doing. I'm hoping, I invited Ram Gopal Prabhu. He was one of the first people, like new devotees that joined in London, and I remember when just a few days after he joined, it was the Pandava Nirjali Kadashi, and so I told him in the morning, so today, Prabhu, we're all fasting. We won't take any water today. And we were kind of a little strict then in those days about those things. And so, okay, he said, okay. He was new, he had just been with us a few days. And then I came back about an hour later, and he was lying down in the prasadam room, you know, like covered in breadcrumbs. And he said, I just ate 15 buns, he said. And I said, Prabhu, I told you it's near Jali Kadashi today. And he said, I haven't drunk any water. Srila Govinda Maharaj was very fond of Ram Gopal.
That's also the anniversary of Srila Gurudev joining the Math.
Yes, indeed. So it's actually a triple festival for us. The appearance of Lord Nrsingadev, the day when Srila Govinda Maharaj joined, came to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, and the day of the installation of Radha Shamsundar. And also, so we've made a 40th anniversary commemorative edition of Gaudiya Darshan, and Madhusudana Maharaj just told me that this year is 70 years since the first Gaudiya Darshan was published as well.
Wow.
So, four things to celebrate.
Has it been printed now?
It's printed, yeah. But I've got it under lock and key. So yes, it's printed, it's ready. Will be available at the festival. And we're feeling a little bit inspired to maybe continue with it. At least once a year to try and publish an edition, maybe more, but at least once a year we try. Pandita's inspiring me to do that. I did in the time of Gurudev, and he was happy.
You did many.
With that. Only four editions I did, but when I gave the first one to Gurudev, he said, "Oh, now Gaudiya Darshan is suited and booted."
You also did Counterpoint.
Yeah, previous to that, Counterpoint, yeah.
Do you still have all the Counterpoint publications?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How many were there?
I think that was maybe 6 or so, I forget altogether. I used to do it at my office. We used to have this, again, before desktop publishing and everything was so common, my office, we had a Wang computer system, and if you remember that, Wang, and I used to publish it on that, and wait till everyone had gone home and then photocopy it in my office, run it out, photocopy it. And then Sagar Maharaj bought me a photocopier at the Gladding Road, and we published it from there for some time.
How's our time?
Yeah, tea time. Tea time is waiting.
Yes.
Did you say that Madhav Maharaj had established 70 temples?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that, even more than Saraswati.
yeah.
He was such a great. And that must have been much more than any of the other.
Yeah, of all the God brothers, he had more centers than anyone.
I heard he was a very powerful preacher, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was to that extent.
Yeah, his mott was in Calcutta, it's near Kalighat. And sometimes Guru Maharaj would send me there with some message for him or a letter for
Oh,
him.
really? Wow.
And Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj would stay there when he was in Calcutta. So I met him there a few times.
Really?
There. Yeah.
Prabhu Kumar sent you from Nandi to
Yeah,
Calcutta
yeah.
to Seven
Yeah, because there was no other way in
Right.
those days, you know. So just go. I didn't know what the content was or anything.
So you got to go right into Madhuraj and deliver.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how was he like, with you? He would speak with you a little? Or?
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
Wow. He
But,
was fluent in English.
Yeah, but the president or whatever, you know, the person in charge of the temple was a little not so quite so charitable to me. A little suspicious when I was there. He would say, "You sure you're not from ISKCON?" I said, "No, I'm not from." He said, "Because if you are from ISKCON, you cannot come here." I said, "No, I'm from Sridhar." Oh, okay. Jai.
Bhaja Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Bhaja Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Nice setup for cameras. Yeah, looks like he's yeah, that wasn't easy. But it's just the problem is that they during those 2 years courses they've been
Is this your no? Can't be.
different teachers. One teacher started and then the next one and then the next one. So now what it is, there's a group of 5 guys who left early this Tuesday. They are the ones who are making the most.
As I said,
The other guys, they want to learn, they want to train, they would
yeah,
like
but
to
the thing is, I
take
grew up
into
here, then I went to live in
participate
India.
in the class
I lived in
activities
India
and stuff.
10 years,
There's like a
and then
group.
since
So
then
we
I
need to work with that
haven't
group.
quite landed
That
in
means
India.
like, you know, maybe discipline them somehow because
No,
they
India
said
was,
on Tuesday
I
afternoon
was
that they're
didn't
gonna
really
go
go
and
anywhere.
work
I was just in
in
our
the library to for their
and
portfolios.
West Bengal.
And then we went and they were not here. So I made
You're also Bangladesh.
the surname who was present in the class. And I, with that list, I gave it to my superior in my school. So you know, we need to do something about it. So whether he's done something.
She's the only person who speaks Bengali. Except for I know it sounds really stupid, but I have no
Let's say I come in
Bengali.
and I make a mess.
So you can speak.
If you want to come tidy up the
I
mess,
something.
unless I make a mess.
Again,
But if you say,
It comes back
you know what,
more when I'm
okay.
in Bengal. I mean, maybe you can.
so when you make something that's
I'm
even
like
if it's
on my
small
list of
resistance,
top 10
it's still
favorite
good,
things.
you know?
Number
Small
1 is
resistance
probably
isn't
learn
necessary.
Bengali.
The problem is it's more hassle for you.
So yeah,
It's the only way.
Yeah.
I would love it if you talked to me.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you, James. See you.
I couldn't come and see you in Budapest. I was only there for 3 days.
It's the location is so difficult. For me too, because sometimes I want to like go to Budapest or something. We'll take a chance, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be.
He wants to play
I
football.
don't think so. In July. Are you gonna be there for that? They booked medicine rights ticket already.
Yeah.
So that's the age to get called.
Yeah, that's just the, if you have a car, it's easy.
45 minutes, otherwise
He
it's
doesn't
going
want
to
to
spend half hour.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
trains.
All day.
It's
It's good to know.
difficult.
Otherwise they get into nonsense.
The glad he's not into
Well, really lovely.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
Xbox
And
and
I'll hope to
Because it
see
could,
you.
it's like an
Maybe
addiction.
I'll try to come next Monday.
at least he's not.
Okay, I'm actually here just for a short
That's good,
visit,
my friend.
but I'll be back over the summer
It's good.
for a
Oh,
while.
yes, that's what I said.
Few hours, you know, to
Yeah.
Okay.
their losses.
I'll show them.
Yeah, sure, we'll meet again,
This year
yeah.
is such an important year because it will be the year that
I don't think so, no. I'm actually planning to try and get my British passport over the summer, so
so
I'll
everything is
let
trying
you
to
here.
stay more well because
Okay.
my father,
Okay.
his father,
You might be going.
so he wanted to
Are you going?
So your grandfather.
To America?
So with that money, the money I've saved, that's why it's so important to work as hard as possible. I'm trying to get a deposit now.
And where was your grandfather?
He was in Sweden.
Sweden.
Around because it's around 600,000. Maybe a little bit more. They were split.
Yeah.